How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to my series where I'm showing my lovely boyfriend,
Hello.
Marvel Rivals costumes, character by character, for him to analyze. Now, he's a comic artist, he's an art teacher, he's got a lot of insight into how these characters are designed and the choices that are made, and I've learned a lot doing this series with him. And I can't say I'm super excited for this one. It's Moon Knight. I don't know much about Moon Knight. I'm not attached to Moon Knight. It's a cool design, but, yeah, Moon Knight. This is the schizophrenic guy, who I have no idea how well they handle mental illness in his comics.
No, I thought it was multiple personality, but
Maybe?
schizophrenic is like you have.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Hallucination.
He does have DID. You're right.
Yeah, and they're both pretty different, like entirely different. So I just wanted to check it out. 'Cause I remember they had the previews for the TV series, and I thought, hey, that looks kind of cool. And then,
I hear the Moon Knight show is good.
And then I heard it was good, and then I didn't watch it because streaming and money and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I thought it looked like from the previews it was pretty interesting show. But yeah. All right, so we got basic Moon Knight costume, which he does have I've seen his comic book series because people post that one of just like Dracula, where's my money?
Yeah, that is an edit, but
I wish it was real. But in any case, his outfit, it goes for simplicity a lot of the times because it just looks nice. You can put this big dramatic hood. You can have a lot of drama with the cape. And then once you keep everything else simple, you don't have to break apart his silhouette too much as far as drawing for comics.
Well, they greebled the hell out of this man.
Yeah, well, they had to Marvel Rivals it, right? Because there's not really simplicity in a lot of Marvel Rival designs. So they take that idea and be like, all right, what do we do now? One thing I kind of noticed off the bat as far as the way the form cuts in the front is that we kind of have this big shape in white for the hood and the front of the chest area. And then there's kind of like this almost X shape with the black areas between where they've cut the thighs and then up through the sides of his chest on the ribs.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of creates this big, like, kind of black X shape.
Moon Knight joining the X-Men? Stay tuned.
Well, it's just kind of a nice way to order all that. Like you said, there's a lot of greebling happening in this outfit. It does bring a little bit of order to all that chaos. It's a pretty simple color palette. We only have that kind of... It's a kind of a cool white. They have a little bit of a gray tone in it, so it's... like cream has yellow and has warmth. This is like the opposite. We have blue and cold and purple. Just enough that it's still the color white, but it's not just like bright, pure white. And then they have the gray. The gray, I think a lot of blue and green in that as well. I don't see them going warm with that gray very much. And then the warm color that they have with not too much of is the brown. There's kind of this very, very desaturated brown, which is, if you take a brown and you want it to match with a lot of cool colors, desaturating it so it's not so bright and full of red is a really great way to make it mesh with all the other cool colors. Because then it's going to kind of harmonize with everything and not be a eye-catching color.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's kind of fun. Like, it's just kind of part of the straps that are holding pieces of the armor together. And I kind of like that it's in the middle of the belt, too. So you kind of have this center line of brown. Because you don't have it early on the bottom of the boots. You don't have it at the top of his head, either. And then...
There's a very small amount of it on the fasteners for his knee pad.
Oh, yeah. Teeny, teeny, tiny amount. And then, yeah, proportionally, yeah, that's not going to eye-catch or draw away from the rest of the outfit.
I didn't even notice there was brown until we started looking at it today.
See? That's what it's supposed to do. It's just enough. Because it is a warmer color compared to all the blues. It gives a little bit of variety to what everything else is going on. They're using also cyan in a few places. He has kind of an effect on his chest, and the eyes have a cyan glow. And it's also a little offset, it looks like, so it kind of becomes ghostly. Because some of it is not quite lined up with where they're emanating from. Looks pretty cool to me.
Yeah. Something else I didn't notice. Like, it's visible on another skin, but I didn't know it was part of his base skin.
Yeah. I'm also loving how they're playing with shape with the hood. Because there's almost like this like eagle eye head piece going on with the gray
Oh,
stripe.
I can see it, which fits because Khonshu has a bird head.
And I like how the mask is really like, that's kind of like the basic ninja mask with like the holes in it so you can breathe. You know, Shredder has something similar to that from Ninja Turtles. But in this one, like they got like these triangles in it and like lots of sharp points that I think is a really fun design that they've played around with that. So they took kind of like what's normally like a very round piece and they've angled like everything. It comes to a point in the front of his face, and then they like angled all the everything around it.
That you've mentioned before the shape language of villains, and they really lean into that with Moon Knight, not because he's a villain, but because he's incredibly dangerous to everyone around him.
Like it's like the danger triangles.
Yeah.
and when you think of his whole thing is a moon, and moons are typically round, so even the crescent shapes. So they're using the crescent that he put in his pockets just now to do magic. See, even though he moves, like they'll use the pointed ends of the crescent, which is the sharpest point of it, to kind of create more pointy ends. He also has a lot of gear because I think most of his thing is he has a little bit of mystical occult power, I think, but I think a lot of his skill set is just big, lethally dangerous.
Yeah.
So he's got like a couple swords back there. He's got little.
They're batons. He'll pull them out.
Will he?
In a moment.
Oh, they're batons. I was like, they're kind of short. They could have been short swords, but yeah. And then he has pouches. Ah, batons. Blunt. He does piercing and blunt damage. And then I want to see what kind of else they've done with the design, because he does kind of have slightly pointy elbow pads, but they're not like crazy pointy. They've been rounded up a little bit.
Still sharp shape language.
Yeah. I'm also looking at the gauntlets a little bit, because one thing they're doing is kind of this principle of repetition. So if you have one shape, you can repeat it again to create visual rhythms. So when I see the arms, I see kind of like da da, and then like it goes into the arm piece on the top of the shoulders. And even the sides of them are kind of another repetition of that, but on going around instead. It's kind of interesting because they're also cutting up a lot of crescent shapes as just a design motif, which is really clever. Because it is he's the Moon Knight, so they obviously have it in some very, obvious places, like the chest piece and the belt. But it's making a moon crescent shape out of the side of the gauntlet.
And on his shoulder pads.
Yep, I was going to say on the shoulder pads, it's abstracted, but it's still crescent shaped. I'm sure it's probably in some other places we haven't caught just yet. Oh, even the upper arm pads have a little bit of it. It's not as sharp because it doesn't come down on the downward point, but it still has that kind of round.
Yep. His calves, sort of.
Yep, calves on there. And I was thinking also on the arms, it kind of makes this nice point of accenting the, I think that's the biceps up. I remember my muscle groups.
Biceps are upper arm.
Yeah, upper arm. That's what. Yeah. So yeah, the biceps. And then they're using some of those I call them filigree lines through the torso, but I think that is following with the X shape really well, and also some of the muscle groups. They don't do a lot of it on the side though, just the front. But I think part of that is the idea of like the suit's generally pretty white, and I think if they just cut it black with nothing or other black areas, it would make the suit feel a little disjointed, like they're not part of the same piece. And I think it's supposed to be like a one-piece suit. Like the whole thing is one whole unit, so to not be unified, it would look a little weird. And so I think that's the purpose of having those lines go through, because they're the same white lines as the rest of his outfit, so that means these all things have to be connected now. The belt is kind of interesting too, because they did like this extra wide thing by adding like another pad, and then the pouches, and then the belt itself, and then the little.
Oh, I just noticed. Sorry to interrupt, but I just noticed he's got the crescent on his belt, right? The outline of that part of the belt is also a crescent because of the way the belt buckle hits it.
Oh yeah, the belt buckle cuts off the whole circle.
Yep.
With a green piece.
Anyway, sorry for interrupting.
No, I was just thinking like it's kind of interesting how extra wide the belt is, but like a lot of the other pieces are pretty like oversized. So I think it's just a proportion of keeping everything else similar. Because that's the thing too of if you have like a lot of stuff that has to be together, and you don't want one of the things to really distract from the whole, then you make sure they're similar enough that they all kind of match. So if you have a lot of medium to big objects, then you keep everything medium to big until you want somebody to look at something, and then you make that one thing small.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's kind of pretty much what they've done here. I also like the treatment of like the fabric too, because they do have a lot of stuff that's they don't even use really texture. They just use form to imply that this is like a hard material armor. And then they use all the fabric, the way the drapery is on the fabric to suggest that it's soft and a different material, just from the way it's drawn, which is really nice. I mean, texture is great as a tool, but it's really nice when you can just get form itself, the 3D effect of it, to suggest what that material is. Let's do a zoom out because I haven't looked at the legs as much. I don't know if I remember how to pronounce that one correctly.
Ankh?
Yeah, so that Ankh. Because I know there's some kind of Egyptian connection with the patron deity of the character.
Yeah, I'm only vaguely familiar, but Khonshu, god of night or something? I don't know if it's even a real Egyptian deity or something Marvel writers made up in the 70s.
But I do like that it's included as part of his design, and I think it's done well because you have like kind of the circular and then like a straight line, so it kind of matches the kneecap and bone of that as well. I'm also kind of noticing that the gray kind of turns really greenish towards the bottom, and it's lighter. But there is a few other little green accents because I noticed some on the belt. But green.
His crotch is kind of green too.
Yeah, there's a bit of a paint thing there. But I was talking about specifically the gray area in the belt. If you zoom back into it, you see that's kind of a greenish metal.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, and there's a few other ones, but that's like a really, really subtle change. That one is like, instead of doing a value change for some of the dark gray areas, where some of the other costumes have done like it's slightly light gray and slightly darker gray, like not by a lot. Then this way they went a different route. They went with the intensity of the color, so they were like, okay, this one's going to be like a darker gray, and then we're going to pitch this one more towards a greener gray, which probably mean the other color they could use is a blue gray. Which, I don't know, there might be some in there. There's kind of a purpley stripe there. So, yeah, green. There's colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Which, it's not there to be eye-catching, but it's there to give it a little bit of, I don't know what to call it, like the sauce. Like, there's just something, like, to me as an artist, when I'm coloring, and I just do, like, a little bit of hint of color, I'm just like, yeah. Because it just makes what would be like a really flat design just have a little bit of like tastiness to it. It's like your salt and pepper and your other spices on your like kind of plain unflavored meat. I like also the gray areas that they cut out into the cape. It kind of gives a nice eye-catching thing to catch movement, like a little spoiler or a flag on the end of his thing. They also kind of use some gray areas on the back of the cape too to point to kind of surround the moon. I think that just kind of makes a nice U shape to make the top of the cape have kind of like a overall area or kind of shape to it instead of just a flat canvas. Because there's like a big white cape. There's not a lot you could do before you do too much or you do too little. And I think I like that because I'm sure when you're looking at the character from the back running around, it makes a nice kind of almost a rectangular area to focus on. But I think this is really nice so far. I don't think I've really said any negative points.
Yeah.
On this outfit. It feels great. It's got that simple design while also making things complex with that match the rest of the Marvel Rivals designs that they've worked on. Because I think if they had done his like regular old school comic book design, it would feel like a little plain in comparison to all the other heroes. So I think this is a really great style that they've gone with. And I really, really like that it's a subtle motif that there is crescent moon shapes in the whole outfit.
You're making me like this a lot more than I did before.
I'm really also, now that I've kind of picked up on it, I'm really loving the subtle green accents in the gray. They're not very bright, but they're there, and I think they add a lot of material and contrast. Makes it feel like a cool metal or something.
Mm-hmm.
Which sometimes when they do like some of these designs where it's not a real piece of clothing, and they pick a color, sometimes the color will make it just look like a plastic figure, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's action figure material, and then you're just like, uh-huh. But I like that the green gives it kind of a metallic-y look and makes it feel a bit realistic to me. Should we...
Well, you know what's not subtle? Not a Galacta, but...
Oh, thank goodness. Hell yeah! Goth Knight!
thought you'd like this. This is from the Dracula Battle Pass.
Blood Moon Knight. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Ooh, the light color on the back of the cape is surprising, but it's nice. It gives a really good silhouette to the whole body.
Yeah.
And I love that this is like all so committed to the everything is black that it's just like, this feels like evil motorcycle. Especially with how the glowy the red is, and it's kind of like that candy apple red that you would see on like a bike or something. So, you know, it feels very delinquent and dangerous and kind of amazing.
Mm-hmm.
One kind of a fun thing it seems like they did is to not have everything super red. Some of the moon accents are actually very white with a red outline. So it's kind of a pinkish moon on that to give it some color for that effect. But the belt also has like this really nice contrast. Oh, the back on the sides they changed the color of the legs. It looks almost like cut marks or stripes. Some of his weapons are in the way.
Oh yeah, you're right.
There we go. See? Ooh.
Yeah.
And then there's a little bit of red on the back of the boots, I think, to keep that kind of moon shape, but only on the insides. Interesting.
I think that might be the rim light.
You think that red on the inside right
Oh,
here?
nope, you're right.
No, yeah, I think it's just there. He's actually a little more heavy on reds on the bottom of the outfit than the top. But the top has a lot of the lighter pink and white. But yeah.
He's got a little bit of red on his mask too.
Yep, just a little bit. This is just so funny just because of the amount of black it is.
The exact opposite.
Oh, cool. When it was shaded, the moon actually turns like a orange color. So I wonder if in different lighting that's more of a red. Because when he moves his hand, you see it's dark.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
Fiery almost.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that seems more blood moon. Because then blood moons, if the light's right, will turn very orange. Yeah, you can see it really good there when he's hidden from whatever light they have on here. Let's see, on the grays, there is a few light grays here and there, like the back of the arm pieces have one spike that's been turned white, and there's like a little bit of the under part of the pauldron area that's a lighter gray. But everything else is pretty low-key as far as everything's kind of the same shade of dark gray with a few slightly lighter grays here and there. So I think a little bit, especially under the chest piece and along the kind of the abs area and his pouches and a little bit around the hips. But a lot of these really seem to be chosen just on the account of just accenting the body shape and kind of keeping those sections having some kind of order or sense to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can definitely see like the whole middle ab area dark black, and then it's cut up, so it's like, you know, under the ribs dark black, and then, you know, around the hips, so you kind of accent the hip bones. Which, drawing a figure, there are some like bony landmarks that are just kind of pivotal to drawing a realistic human body. So there's just some parts of the body that just really lend to the form and really accent it. So there's The rib cage usually is always visible, so you'll have like that shape. It's especially evident in like the chest piece. You'll have the muscle groups that make up the abs. If someone has a very toned body, that will be very distinct. And then there's these bony line marks on the hip bone that are like right on the top, and you usually see those as a landmark in which other like muscles and fat on the body are going to sit.
I just noticed he's got a little. You'll see it when he moves his arms again. He's got a little crescent moon on the bottom of on the top of his baton.
On the top. That's amazing. Trying to think if there's any other gray areas. They got the biceps highlighted again. Some lighter gray in the other arm pieces as well, and the undersides of the arms, the undersides of the hands and the elbow have it as well. And so yeah, I think I'm not really picking and choosing those. They're just again there to accent figure.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think if there's any other shapes here. A lot of the brown accents got turned gray or some other color to blend in, but on this one, I didn't see it. Was it the other side? Oh well. Anyway,
What are you looking for?
The thing on the batons, because he did the baton animation again.
Ah.
But anyway, how?
Right. You see it there?
Oh, I see it. It's really subtle. So I was looking for something bigger, like the belt.
Ah, yeah, no.
But you're right, it is like really small. Alright, I got it now. But in any case, I was getting at... What was I getting at? Oh, the colors here. So I think a lot of the colors here, though, they're really more concerned with overall silhouette of the character. So, like, if you shaded his whole body as, like, just one color, you would definitely be able to tell who it was. So they're using the cape so that we don't lose that silhouette. And
He stands out against a white background, yeah.
yeah. And so, you know, like, so they're more concerned with the shape he creates overall, which is danger pointy elbows, danger pointy shoulders, evil eyes, and a body posture that says, "Give me my money." Right? So that's just the whole design philosophy. And then the reds are just like little accent spoilers. So, you know, we have kneecaps, stripes along the arm, which creates, with the belt, this kind of nice straight horizontal line across. Can you see how it just goes?
Mm-hmm.
And then the white portion of the moon on his chest is just so different that there's nothing else like it, that we kind of have to lead our eyes to that point. And then, you know, eyes on any... Humans are just so attuned to eyes, so any eyes are just going to be eye-catching in general. So it's just a nice lead up to the top of the face, and it's a great design. This is fun. I want to know the lore. What's the lore that he's wearing this outfit?
He's hunting Dracula. Oh, right, he's got lore. Although the eternal night implies moonlight, Khonshu was still sullen. Mark embraced the crimson moon's glow, patiently anticipating the opportunity foretold by Khonshu, an opportunity destined to arrive through a mortal named Strange. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
All right. Up next, we're going to take a detour to rivalskins.com, because he's got a ranked reward skin.
And you haven't rewarded him?
This was before I got into ranked. This is before I even got into the game, really. I got into the tail end of Season 0 with like a week left to play. And this was his ranked reward skin for Season 0.
This just sounds like excuses. Ooh. Is that basically the recolor that some of the other outfits have?
Yeah. Ranked reward skins are always a recolor.
That's actually a pretty nice one, though. I really... Like, honestly, though, it's hard to go wrong with gold plus, like, you know, dark, moody colors. It just feels really nice. But I'm really digging that as a color palette, because all that gold and shine on all those dull, desaturated colors is just so nice and eye-popping.
Mm-hmm.
Feels luxurious, you know? Like, it makes me think of, like, you know, wood furniture with, you know, Victorian green. And
Or like that photo frame you just used on Sleeping Greedent in Pocopia.
we're playing lots of Pocopia, and they had this like a big flourishy, uh, fancy frame with dark brown or dark black and gold accents. Yeah, it's sectioned out really well too. They did pretty much the same as the white outfit, with pretty much the middle of the body holding all the dark colors of brown, and then the white sections are now all that olive dark green. Or I guess it's a hunter green. That's what I'd call it. That's what kind of a dark blue green is usually called. And that's just nice. I mean, it's obviously not much different from the white outfit, but the way the gold accents are just really nice. And I just appreciate it on the fact that recolors, you don't usually get a lot to play with overall. Like, I could see this as being like a Ranger version of the Moon Knight in like a comic book series. Or like maybe he has to go somewhere tropical and, you know, white's not going to cut it in the night, right? We need something a little more blending in.
The funny thing about both of these recolors is he's got an interaction with Iron Man where Iron Man says, "You ever thought about something a little stealthier?" And he's like, "The moon is white, Stark."
I like the lore bit. I can't read all of it, but it says, after his long odyssey, Mark returned to Egypt and donned obsidian armor as commanded by Khonshu. I'm sure it says gilded accents glittered under the moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm sure it does say. Which, yeah, something also being like the Egyptian inspiration, having like kind of those colors, because you got, you know, I always think like reeds on the Nile at night. Actually, yeah, I really like that one. Some of the recolors have also been pretty good in other characters, but, you know, there's not really, like, I don't really think a lot of lore implications for those recolors. It's just like, oh, cool, that character, but now in red.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, cool, that cool character, but now in blue. But this one, I could totally see as, like, being a actual costume for him.
Yeah.
So good job, whoever thought that one up. I enjoy that a lot.
All right, up next, this is one of his early... Oh, I guess we'll do his default shop skin. Mr. Knight.
Mr. Knight.
Now, the thing people complain about in this skin is actually the cape. They want the cape gone so he can just be in a dapper suit.
Really? I was just thinking, my offense is the mask, but I've just never been a fan of the it's a ski mask thing, but it's so vacuum formed to your face that it just looks very odd. But yeah. I know it's been a staple forever.
Oh, just wait till you get to Deadpool.
I know, that's just Deadpool's face. But, you know, Deadpool's supposed to be a gremlin, so I think he gets a pass just because he's supposed to be non-appealing in some ways.
Yeah. Actual line from the comics, "You know my face looks like grilled hamburger under here, right?"
It's also, I wonder what's with the stitching on the side of the mask. I don't know the lore for this one at all. "You prey on innocent travelers at night. That's all I care about. All I'm doing is stopping you as simply and completely as possible." It's like he was like, oh, I'm dressed up to go on the train and I'm going to go on travel. And oh no, people are in peril. I guess I'm going to put a pillowcase on my face and stitch it together and so they don't know who I am. But I do like the colors quite a lot. The kind of white with a little bit of creaminess to it. You can tell, especially when it's next to the face mask, which is a more blue-white. With a light gray and just even the gold accents are pretty light. They're like really white gold.
They're a little bit peanut butter, but they're shiny, so...
They're shiny, and I think they pass. They don't look like not gold. They're just a very light-colored gold. I guess it could have gotten away from them really quickly, though, if they were not careful, but... I think I think the perils of the peanut butter one was that it was next to jelly purple.
Yeah.
In that case. I can definitely see the complaints with the cape, because the front of the suit looks so wonderful, and then the cape does not look like it matches the outfit. And there are formal wear capes as a thing that they could have like looked at. They could have gave him like They could have parted it in the front so they could still get like the shoulders and things, but there are like dress appropriate capes.
The logic we think was that he does like a Batman glide with his cape, so they wanted to leave it on. But later costumes sometimes don't have the capes, so they abandoned that eventually.
Yeah, or they could have just done like just a magical, blue magic cape, because they just showed that he has like that ability. That's my solution. It would have been anyway. Be like, oh, the costume doesn't have a cape. We'll just give him magic glowy effect when he capes and call it a day.
Yeah.
But I am a little disappointed that the cape is not based on some kind of formal wear, because I know they make them. Maybe not in that length. But I have seen them. I wish I could find some because I would love to own them.
Uh-huh.
But they do make them.
Noted for your birthday.
They're just hard to find. And so are waistcoats for some reason. They're only available in like fall for some reason. And so, you think a waistcoat could be for any time of year. Like weddings and birthdays and just, I want to be fancy today. But not around here. I don't live in a place that is formally inclined, so.
Yeah.
Harder to find some of these things. Oh, they do a little bit of the vacuum formed pants too. That's kind of been a trend in menswear that needs to go away. Is every piece of clothing is vacuum formed to their masculine body, and it doesn't look good because it just looks like your clothes don't fit.
I do think they did it, if they're going to vacuum form, they did it right with his arms, because like he's supposed to be muscular and bulging out of his clothes. Like, that's on purpose. But, yeah, the legs look a little weird.
Just a little. It's not quite a lot, but I just think for formal wear, it looks better, especially if you're going for, this is a person who is fancy and refined. Look at his butt. You can see his butt through the pants. Sorry. But anyway.
Every male character in this game has cake, don't you know?
What about for us who don't want more cake, huh? Where's our butt?
You want the long back.
We need at least a few, just to be conclusive. But in any case...
Well, Spider-Man doesn't have that much cake.
Gosh, that'd be horrible if he did. Spider-Man! Ah, jeez. Now we know why Jameson really wants pictures of Spider-Man. It's all for the cake. You set me off. Anyway, formal wear. There's just such a long tradition of it, and it's not without purpose. A lot of that has been cut to make people look good, and the shape of the clothing is there to accent the human body in ways that are aesthetically pleasing. Like, fashion is its own thing, but visually it has a lot similar to visual arts. And that we're both kind of trying to achieve the same thing. Like, are we providing harmony? Are we abstracting things? Are we making things more pleasing? Are, we leading the eye? Like the whole tie is supposed to be just high enough to point to your crotch. It's like, it's a thing in fashion. And some of them are just traditional too. Like, I know why, but I still don't get we button only one button of our coat. Because of, I think it was British, that he was too big to button his coat properly, but he was very popular, so now it's just tradition that you just button the one button. And it's like, if you do all of them, you look like you don't know what you're doing because you used all the buttons, you fool. And it's just, the fashion world is wonderful and mysterious at the same time. But in any case, that's not my expertise, but I do like the color palette quite a lot. There's a few strayaway lines too, like the teal as an accent and the yellow on like the chest. And some of them look like they're there to more accent the pec area, which they can't because there's layers. So instead they just use a line of color or brush strokes to accent it instead. And give it a little bit of wrinkles and clothing type treatment and the texture. And for that kind of traditional mask, they have it really well modeled and it looks good. It's just not my favorite style.
Yeah.
There's even a little wrinkle on the back, on his neck, on the other side. My assistant is having technical difficulties. Other side. Keep going. There it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, they always have a high attention to detail and things are well designed. I still take a little bit of offense with the cape, but it does look okay. It's not the worst. I just think it could be better.
Yeah.
For what it is. Or just gone. Like some people, you know. Because it almost becomes part of the suit jacket. It's like the lapels part, but it's not. And that bothers me a little. And I love the little like line accent of this pocket watch. I think that's really cute and breaks up some of the symmetry a lot. But just a little bit of there for flavor. Oh, I think, does he have a, is his, oh, that might not be a tie, that, because it looks like how there's a round piece at the bottom. That might be, there's like a scarf thing you can do where you pull a metal piece up. Maybe. It does look a little odd though, the way it's done.
I think that's a scarab.
Oh, is he wearing like, he's wearing something. Yeah, maybe it is a scarab. Now I'm kind of curious what it is. I thought initially it was a tie, and maybe that's kind of what they're going for, but now I'm like looking at it now and I'm like, it is awfully flat. Maybe it's supposed to be like a neck scarf instead. There also looks like there's kind of an X mark on it, which I just assumed was a bit of texture, but now I'm also really wondering what it is. I don't know, I guess if anyone knows.
Once again, he's an honorary X-Man or something. Gotta rep them somehow.
An X is just a common shape. It could be for anybody. But anyhow, I don't know if I have much else to add to this one.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Like, I don't love it because it's not my style, but I don't think I don't love it because of the design. The design is fine. It's just my personal preference.
Yeah. All right, here's something a lot more complicated. His Chinese New Year skin.
Oh my. They really went all out. I hope they make more of these, honestly. Ooh. My first thought is, though, if no one told me, I'd have no idea this is supposed to be Moonlight.
Yep, that's the complaint about it.
And
well, that's the salient complaint about it. There are the people who are like, oh, Chinese New Year skins.
And they're boring people, and we don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Because one, Chinese New Year is lit, and the celebrations are awesome. And two, all these designs are so colorful and amazing, and I love them. Mm-hmm. But I do wish, like, you would think actually they would have went with Phoenix or something because of the bird association, because I think there is one.
We'll get to it later, but he actually has a Phoenix Force skin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, in Chinese mythology, you have the four directions. So you have dragon, phoenix, tiger, and turtle, I believe.
Uh-huh.
I think that's right.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, like, I know I'm a dragon fan and all that, but I'm just thinking, was it for the, no, it wouldn't have been, would it have been the year of the dragon they did these?
Last year? 2025? No.
That would have been Snake, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might be wrong, but I was just like, no, yeah, 2024 would have been Dragon year because of it's already 12th year. Mm. I'm just trying to figure out if there's a reason they went Dragon and not something else. Because I think with the horns, it's very, in the face, it's very clearly Dragon-like. Could be Chiron, but I'm not. After that, the extent of my Chinese mythology fades.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there's got to be some kind of mythology that would have been better tied to the Moon Knight character. Maybe there's a moon association with dragons that I don't know about, possibly, that makes this make sense to someone who's more knows more of the cultural relevance. But I'll just comment on what I do know. So one thing that's fun is the middle piece that is done as a crescent with some jade. I always forget the name of these things, but they're an actual object that's been found for thousands of years. I wish I could remember the name of them right now, but they're jade discs. And they've been used decoratively for forever, but I think that's a cool touch that they use that as part of the costume. A lot of orange, which is really more red orange. Is really nice. Let's see, if we're going color wheel wise, we have a lot of blue greens. I always struggle with the tertiary colors, but I think those might be complementary. Because if we're going red to
Blue is orange is complementary, but if it's reddish,
If it's red orange,
then yeah, it would be bluish green.
yeah, and then blue green. So yeah, it is a complementary color scheme. I was pretty sure, but I wasn't. Yeah. But I also like the totally blue hair. That feels like a cool eye-catching, and it's a cool effect too.
Yeah, they did a great job with that.
Like yeah, like I just like that's a color that stands out a lot on all that blue green.
Oh, it's see-through too. You can see his mask.
Yeah. Very cool.
He doesn't have a head.
Do they have a little lore blurb to give some more context?
Far to the southwest lies Kunlun, the esteemed earthly capital of the divine cities, guarded by deities and dragons alike. This guardian, with a human body and a dragon's face, clad in azure scales, stands as the majestic protector of the Moon Palace and an invincible general against evil.
Oh, fun. So like a Moon Palace idea. Let me look at some of the many crescent motifs on this costume. But in this case, I think
they're everywhere.
They're overtly crescent shaped rather than covertly, because they're like on the cape, on the sides of the skirt, on the legs,
on his legs, on his chest, on his belt,
on his face, on his do we miss any? His weapons, I guess.
Yep.
The dragons have it.
The dragons have it on his head. Yep.
It's a little more subtle there, though. I think there was a missed opportunity to have the dragons holding a crescent instead of a
door
a
knocker.
coin. Yeah, or a ring. A ring is the right word. But yeah, I do love the gold too. Like the gold is also very red orange as far as like it's just desaturated, but they really went more reddish with that gold accent than the other way. I think a lot of the other color palette too is just pitching things lighter in value or darker in value. So like that light minty green is a blue green. Just it's with white. Then you got a medium, and then you have a dark navy, which is really pitched more towards blue. But since they're neighbors on color wheel, they don't. It doesn't conflict with any of the harmonies. And then the orange is and yellow's next to orange anyway. But in that case, those are your accent colors in this whole ensemble. Because I think the other red orange, even though it is providing some accent, it's desaturated to match with the blue green. It actually is, I think, pretty close in intensity to the blue green metallic effect. So the orange, really lets that red orange sing as the kind of big eye catching color, and then the yellow and the other blues kind of lead us around. So if we zoom out for a little bit, because we have pretty much entirely dark on the bottom with a slight bit of that red orange. It's just a little bit so that it's balanced. Then we go up. Oh, I still want the front view a little bit. So we go up, we have lots of light colors in the middle and a big skirt. So we kind of create this shape of it coming out like a bell. Because the legs and stuff kind of blend into the cape a bit. So we really can play with the shape of the upper body. So we have this kind of bell shape going out, and then we have another bell shape going out on the top too. So we have kind of this hourglass almost. He's really movie though.
Yeah.
Hold still for a moment, would you? And so we have this kind of big bloom into this upper body area with a lot more of the density of how complex it is on the top is much higher than the bottom. There's a lot of details all over because they're kind of like the ruffles in the skirt and some fabrics and materials and emblems. But I think when we add all the filigree of the gold on the top, which is very highly concentrated there, so we're doing high density to low density to very simple, or more simple in comparison to everything else going on. And then we have an animated feature, which is when you can add animation, which is not something I do, but because I do more illustration and static drawing. But animation brings a very another eye-catching element, because if it's in motion, you want to look at it. So on his face, we come up to the face quite easily. And then even then, the shape of, because we talked about the danger triangle, he has a lot of points on like the horns, the sides of the mask, the horns on the dragon, the ruffles, which would normally be a very soft shape. They have taken and tipped them upwards so they are pointy on the ends of the ruffles. He has danger ruffles. And then I think the form is really well done too, because all that orange, like I love that big stripe across the whole chest piece of orange, and then the top one doesn't even connect to anything, and then the bottom one goes down to the middle of the chest, to the belt area, which is another big horizontal line. And because they're curved, we get to see the form of the chest. And with all that detail and stuff, the gold adds a little bit of form, but I think the orange is the part that's doing the big heavy lifting. Like he has this big, broad, round barrel chest, and it looks really great to me. I love that a little bit more blues added. Like the cape is a lighter blue, because the ruffles have it a little bit, but they're still, to me, only slightly more blue than the minty green, but not by a lot, but just slightly. And then they put a little more blue on the scarf cape that he's wearing, which I think is a nice way to... They're only using most of that light blue on the face area. They have it a little bit in some areas, but only the tiniest amount of it. I think just for harmony's sake. And then, obviously, with the expression of that mask, we have some pretty grim-looking face with these big, harsh lines. But I do love the way the repetition of the lines are, because I'm seeing what underneath the eye, there's this like double line. It's like a repetition, so it's like swoop under the eye, so the cheekbones, and then straight down into the nose. So like swoop down, swoop
Oh, that is
down.
a good detail.
And then, you know, these big nostrils that fill in that negative space created by the cheeks. So we have this oversized, you know, grim face with no room for like soft, you know, fatty tissue like the, you know, soft cheeks or anything, or, you know, big tusks. And then there's kind of a harsh vertical line for the teeth. And then we kind of bring back the swoops for the bottom of the jaw.
He's got a mustache.
Yeah, he's got a little mustache. Like I said, they've pretty much abstracted the face, but they scrunch up everything, and everything fits like almost like a puzzle piece. There's no room for like the other parts of the face, so that everything becomes more abstracted, but it's also more exaggerated. So they could put this enormous grimace where you don't even see like the underneath portion of the nose. You just see the mustache, right? Or the lip, and then the bottom of his jaw is oversized and repeats that kind of swish that they used for the cheeks. So we have kind of swish underneath those big tusks, down, swish, down, and then there's a little bit of gold accent. So I think the gold accent is really just a way to kind of outline the face a little bit. So because mostly the middle of the face is green, except for the eyebrows and the center line from the moon. And then the middle of the face is all green, and then just the outlines of the edge of the mask. And then more danger triangles for the horns, which are, again, just like right above the eyebrows. There's no upper forehead. It's just like slotted right in, right? So there's pretty much, they've taken all the features of the face that would make up a face, and they've really just slotted every piece precisely next to each other and made it really sharp in form with some repetition of line. And I think that's just a really nice mask. Because you can like look up masks and you can do different things too with the shapes and stuff, but I think that is just really nicely done. I mean, and obviously you're not meant to like sit and pay attention to it that much. You just go, oh cool, grimace face, this is a sick mask. But it is really beautifully designed. And that's the thing artists can do. They either have built up enough experience to just like smash that out just by habit, or they go through many iterations trying different proportions. Like, do I make the nose narrower? Do I make it wider? In this case, it's like super wide nose, right? Like, do I position the tusks in different places? Do I make the teeth smaller or bigger, or the mouth open, or the jaw smaller, or a different shape? And then you can kind of happen onto a really good design that way by iterating on the idea or the abstraction you're trying to achieve. The Dragon Masks are also done really well in that same kind of shape language, like the big eyebrow of that dragon and how it becomes kind of this big flat shape with the eyes and like a big bulbous nose that's chunked out into like, I think maybe like 3 or so spheres, which... Drawing spheres for a nose is sometimes a thing you can do. Even has a little tiny sphere for the underside of the nose. Even though it's more animal-like, it's really putting a lot of work in the form. I talked about that, but it's a really nice mask. Quite a lot. One thing I was looking into, too, is the cape. Because I haven't spent a lot of time to look at the back of his cape, but I like that design a lot. Pretty Let's see. So we have bright yellow, which is a very high saturation, with a duller blue in comparison. Like it's a light blue, but it's grayed down a little bit blue green, I think, a little bit bluish, somewhere in between there. Matches really nice with things. And then they just a little bit of subtle changes in value to do a cloud embroidery design on there. And I think having the gold on the bottom of the cape feels really nice with how much gold is on the arms. Because we have kind of like these big golden chunks and stripes and things for the arms, and then kind of nothing on the middle of the cape. So then this big filigree accent on the bottom of that cape becomes this kind of nice counterbalance to that. Making it feel like pretty top heavy and sturdy, but it's just color wise, you can tell it's not the same hard metal, it's a fabric, but it feels nice. And the shape is nice too. Because it almost makes like the bottom of the cape narrow in the blue section, so it kind of goes narrow to big. Then of course you have that cool ribbon thing, but a lot of them have that. But that's a kind of like what it's called framing, is where you can take some kind of object or accent or something and make it exist around something else, and then it just kind of frames the figure. Like a real picture frame, so that's why they call it framing. And you can do that with environment, like trees and things, or buildings, like windows. So, you're like looking at a movie and like, oh man, the character's looking out a window, but that's chosen on purpose to frame that character in a specific way. And sometimes it's like really, really obvious. Like, I just watched Lord of the Rings recently, so they pick up the ring and you see the shot of the characters through the ring itself. Like that's another type of framing. It's another tool to use to lead the eye of the person that you want to view your design. Yeah. Oh, I love there's a little bit of orange gold too in the center of the belt. This one does a lot with color, and it's a really nice color palette. So, if only the Galactic color palette was this nice. Could you imagine?
Instructions unclear. We made a galactic colored Chinese New Year skin.
I'm just saying, like, the way the color palette is harmonious. Like, if they had just done, like, okay, we have purple and cyan and magenta. Like, what if they had some connective tissue? Like, in this case, they have the navy and they have the dull bronze and the yellow. And they're all neighbors on the color wheel, whereas, like, the cyan is a blue that's really close to yellow. So that's why it's so high key. It's just really getting to the point that if you push it any farther, it's going to turn green. Then you have the magenta. That's a purple that is so pink it's almost red. And then, what did I say? The other one's just basic purple. That's like right in the middle between blue and red. So they're so pushed apart. There's no harmony. They're just like in different atmospheres. And it bothers me so much. And please don't tell me Moon Knight has a galactic skin. Because
No, he doesn't.
Thank goodness.
Can't handle it right now.
I can't handle it right now because this is so beautiful. It would just destroy my appetite for art today. But yeah, I always like these ones quite a lot. I hope they continue to make some every new year.
Yeah, the one complaint is that it doesn't look like Moon Knight.
Yeah, and I accept that complaint because it does not. And it probably could have. So as a color palette and as a design, A+, but as a theme, maybe, I don't know, C. We'll give you a passing because you designed the hell out of it, but you didn't really hit the character notes very well.
Yeah.
Except for that the moon is on it. But, the crescent moon is such a common symbol that you got to do a little bit more to get Moon Knight out of it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Ready to move on to...
Yep. We're going to have to split this episode because I stream in 25 minutes, but we have time for one more skin, I think. So let's see. Let's do his MCU skin.
Ooh. So this one's the one probably more based on the TV series? Or?
Yep.
Okay. I haven't seen the trailers for that TV series in forever, but this is pretty fun in texture. Like, this feels like a mummy was just pulled out of the crypt and told, go fight crime now.
I think that's the idea, yeah.
I really also like the repetition in line that's all over in different places. Because the one thing that stands out first to me is the center of his costume, where the crescent moon is, kind of has this kind of sunburst effect of repeating gold lines, because the negative spaces of the wrappings just create these little slivers of gold, and it's very sun ray like. And then we have another similar repetition of line texture in that his arm gauntlet has this kind of waffle pattern on it, which also feels pretty nice to me. It's very different from the other wrappings, so it gives a contrast, so that whole arm piece is now separated in a way that visually we can identify. There's also kind of too, like on the side of the hood, it's got this like interlocking weave almost, or maybe it's just V shapes.
Mm-hmm.
But it gives this kind of nice pattern there. This is one where it's almost like if there wasn't an order to it, it might be too busy if it was just kind of randomly like wrapped, but oh, excuse me. But a lot of it is following a direction, like underneath the rib cage is just like these diagonals, and the abs, I think they like crisscross them, and underneath the rib cage, which I think is really kind of cool. There's a series of muscles that like people who draw muscular people really love to draw, but they're interlocking underneath the rib cage, so they kind of they overlap in this way that kind of looks like a braid. And people who are really ripped, sometimes that will actually stand out, and you'll see they're small muscles, but they're there and they kind of interlock because of the way the body moves. And I like that that's kind of represented in the way the wrappings are done, because you see how they create this kind of zigzag.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of mimics that. I think it's a little bit lower than where they are normally located, but I do like that as a detail. And that they're, let's see, let's zoom out a little bit, see the legs. Because the legs don't have as much wrapping, but I think the little detail of the writing is kind of a neat thing. It also creates a bit of a separation too, because we have like pretty much entirely the whole top half of the costume is wrapped in some way. And then the bottom is kind of like pants. And then to not make it feel a little too weird, he has a belt that is like a loincloth with a cloth around the back. So it's like clearly pants. Like, don't forget we gave this man pants. He's not just wrapped mummy everywhere. So it's not so confusing that he just suddenly has a costume pants on.
I get the impression that he kind of conjures his costume when he transforms into Moon Knight in the TV series, but I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
Yeah, and then he has golden knee pads that are wrapped again, so we're still keeping that motif, but a little bit less of it. So like proportionally, we have like huge area on the top, and then just a little bit for harmony in the middle.
With a crescent moon.
Mm-hmm. I like those too, because they kind of remind me of grave goods, and that like usually small trinkets or charms were buried with people. And so they're just kind of hanging on the costume. They're not attached, they're just, little stickers. But, he's a magical Moon Knight, and with the mummy wrappings, you get, like, this really mystical idea. It's even got a moon on the hood that's in white, which I think is nice, too, because the gold accents are just, like, little glitter spread throughout, but a few of them, like, around the neck is accenting that. And they peek out just enough that you can tell that they're armor pieces, but they are creating this interesting repetition of line, because along the shoulders, we have, like, the neck piece, but then it's, like, you'll turn them. Little line, big line, big line. And then it's the same repetition because it's symmetrical. Little line, big line on the pauldrons. So even though what the pauldron is a 3D object, it's now been abstracted to like this like melody of repeated thin lines. And it's the same, like I said, on the chest area. That's what stuck out to me first. The little moon on this chest also has inscriptions.
Oh, damn, it does, yeah.
And there's a bigger moon inside the little moon, I just noticed, that has craters and pockmarks like the full moon does.
Oh, that's fun.
And then I think there's another ring around that has further inscriptions. But it's layered with the crescent moon on it, which I think is kind of cool. It gives it some depth and like three-dimensionality. I also like that they treated the medallion for the middle as a whole golden medallion, even though the crescent moon is on it. Because I think for this one, symmetry is trying to be controlled a lot more. So he's very symmetrical overall, except for in a few places. Like the chest has the crescent moon. And the white crescent moon, I think, is supposed to be played down, so it's not very eye-catching, but it's still repeating that shape language. And then the rest of the outfit is pretty much symmetrical, all the way through. Like if you zoom out, like there's, I don't see any other asymmetry to of note, really.
The writing is asymmetrical in its contents, but in its shape and placement, it's symmetrical.
Yeah. And then he has might have some armor on the back, because I saw him move and there's like some pieces there that have some gold on it. Hard to see with the cape though, but it is like basically a big shoulder blade. That is really hard to see though.
Yeah, when he moves, it'll probably be more visible.
And the cape kind of pops off as wrappings too. That's fun. Zoom out a little bit. Oh, I almost wish, I know the cape is fitting on a cape template, but I almost wish the end of the cape ended in little flutters.
Mm-hmm.
Like little individual wrappings are unraveling.
That would be cool.
I think that would have been pretty cool too, but I guess they wanted to make him look pretty tidy, even though he's literally Mummy Knight. Yeah, that's the only thing I would have done, because I think just a little bit of texture on the back would have been nice, because he's otherwise pretty plain from the back view. Because there's no emblem, there's no anything, not even little gold sparkle accents or anything. That's a little plain from the back. But I love the rest of the outfit. This is really fun. Oh, even the loincloth has wrappings, I just noticed. I thought it was cloth wrinkles at first. But it is just a series of layered wraps. And then, yeah, the white looks like it's a bit of a variation in the colors they're using, but I see a lot of like cold colors with warm, because we have warm cream, and then anything in shadow is kind of a purple or blue white.
There's a little green there too.
Yeah, I think the green is one of those brush where they do the hue variation, which is not every design uses hue variation, but it is something really nice to do in painting, and they're doing a painterly effect for most of their costumes, because it's kind of in the whole design library of everything they've been making so far. Mm-hmm. So a little bit of hue shifting between like a similar color. So we got blue, so green's fine, and we also yellow is fine. Or no, the other way, blue would be purple. So yeah, green and purple next to blue are fine. So we have a lot of that, and the shadows. And then also here, oh, that kind of makes a wing shape on the leg when they combine that swish off the pants with the striping. At least it kind of looks wing-like to me.
Kinda, yeah.
That'd be cool. Man. The waffle is a little unexpected, but it works so nice in this design.
Oh, he's got inscriptions on his batons too.
Nice. Yeah, I really love the bringing in different inscriptions on here. I wonder if they did research and made them say anything, because you can research ancient Egyptian and arrange them in a way.
Saw a funny post like a week ago of an Egyptologist who decided to get drunk and hate watch the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie so that she could make fun of the hieroglyphs, and was very upset because they actually got a real Egyptologist to come in and make accurate hieroglyphs that actually said things.
That's amazing. Yeah, I actually really like this one. I'd probably play this one, unless there's one that's more interesting in the future. We'll see.
There's another one I'm not sure if you'll like or not, because it's a little bit of a mess, but it
Is it worse than that magic one?
No.
That was pretty bad.
That was pretty bad.
I'm still kind of mad about that one. I'm just like, none of the themes match. How dare you? Like, it's not, my offense is not that it's weird. It's that none of the weirdness it means anything.
Yeah.
And I've seen better weird. But yeah, is this the time to take a break?
Yeah, what we're going to do is, because I stream in 15 minutes, we're going to take a break. We'll come back to this later in the day, record the rest of it, and I'll have this uploaded in the morning. But yeah, that's the first half of Moon Knight. We will see you guys in 5 seconds in the YouTube video, and 5 hours in real time. Toodles.
Bye.
Hey everybody, we're back. And we're back to Moon Knight.
Boom. superhero landing.
Okay. Up next, I think I will show you the Phoenix Force costume,
Wee.
which I think is one of his better ones.
It's pretty fun. Part of me is also thinking like this looks like a random character from like a brawler fantasy setting game.
Yeah.
Something about I think probably the gold, red, and white, which is used a lot for certain types of characters.
This is kind of an MMO costume, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was I think that's what my brain was ticking off there. Is fantasy MMO. But I think it's just because like they kind of had this design language of, armor pieces, but they're all more shapy than they are like actual plate armor. Especially elven stuff, because they want to bring some kind of leaf motif into stuff, so they just kind of make everything a little bit rounder and teardrop shaped.
Mm-hmm.
But I still really love the color. You just can't go wrong with fiery, warm, hot colors. They always look good. The white's very cold, though. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the stark white is the contrast they were looking for.
Yeah. I mean, it will make the warmer colors look warmer by having a cold next to it. But I was just thinking the colors that they're using overall, because we have the metal, but just kind of a dull yellow. Well, there's actually a little bit of fuchsia on the edges of the fire effect, too. And especially on the upper body. I don't see very much, if any, on the lower body.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a fun idea to just extend the color palette a little bit, because when you do have a color palette this close to itself, where, yellow, orange, red right next to each other, well, then how do you have, like, a little bit of a highlight color so you can get some variety back in when all your colors are harmony? So that's how you just punch something a little bit past the point that it normally would, but since it's still next to the neighbors, it just becomes more of the accent color of the ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
And then value-wise, yellow is usually the lightest of any colors. It has a very, very light value to it. I do like the asymmetry in the mask, though. That's an interesting idea. It's like a phoenix wing.
Yeah. Oh, I just noticed the crescents that he uses as weapons are also phoenix wings.
Now they have a texture to it. And since they can kind of use the feather, they can kind of keep a little bit of the moon shape in the feather shape, since they're somewhat similar.
Mm-hmm.
Not as many moons as some of the other versions of his outfit, though.
You're right. There's the one on his back. There's the one on his chest, and there's the weapons.
Yeah, and the weapons have been really turned into feather-like wings. So, the shape overall is still a crescent, but you kind of really lose the very bold crescent shape overall.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about this as a theme, though, because these are pretty unique to the series of the video game, right? Or do they have a basis in the comic books?
This is specifically, I think, from the comics. Yeah. Back in, 2020, there was Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah, I was just thinking, the idea of, the Phoenix and Moon Knight's mythos as a combination, I thought that would be interesting to explore. Because we have, basically something based on a celestial body, and then the really very traditional version of the Phoenix, at least as far as its Middle Eastern counterpart, which I think is the version they're going for with all the fire, is that it was basically a bird of immortality. When it got to the age that it would normally die, it would burst into flames, and from the flames, it would be reborn anew and basically live forever. So it was kind of like a mythical creature to represent that concept. And I'm just thinking, I wonder if there was some other ways we could have looked at that idea of the moon and immortality as a visual concept. But because it does seem to have a not video game. We are the video game. The video games were the friends we made along the way. Because it has a basis in the comic series, they probably are building more on its original design. So I won't critique the theme as much for that. But I really also like there's almost like this big shape in the middle with the kind of tabard loincloth look that they going on with this. It's kind of interesting. It has side cutouts because it does create this interesting shape in the middle. But as a clothing item, I'm thinking that doesn't quite make sense to do a tabard kind of skirt and then like it gets cut in the middle for no reason. Trying to think of some other things to say on here because there's our red sections too on the biceps that kind of just look like the cutouts are just kind of wrapped around his arm. So some of the things I'm seeing, at least as far as that, I feel like are less incorporated than some of his other outfits. Like they don't feel like they are part of the same garment. And I'm not sure how I feel about that so much. But I do like the colors quite a lot, and there's a lot of contrast. We have light, and the red is kind of medium to dark value-wise, so they are very bold shape-wise and value-wise. I like the subtle fire effect on the end of the cape, though. That feels nice.
Yeah, that looks very cool.
And then one really big line, center line on the cape. Kind of creates a thorough line. But I do like that the moon kind of breaks that up a little bit so it's not too heavy either. Kind of helps lead your eye upward. Since now you have 3 points pointing up rather than just one big dagger diamond shape.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the feather motif on the edges of the cape. I like that quite a lot. This one too, like I think instead of pointing out, they have the pauldrons kind of pointing down and up to kind of creates a reverse of its own shape. So it goes down and kind of up. You see it kind of like, got downward spike, upward spike. Anything else interesting in this design that's worth commenting on? Oh, there's kind of a feather thing going on in the lower part of the skirt or loincloth. So yeah, there's the other lines that kind of cut it up in the feather shapes.
Yeah. Not a lot to say about this one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think on it because I'm like, I've seen some of the other Phoenix ones and like there's a small part of me that's just like, I wish I had more feathers. But
oh, just you wait till we get to Phoenix Venom.
All right, but like, and maybe to be too, it's also like the bit of the MMO fantasy armor look to it as well. But it does make me really want to see what the comic book version looked like, just to see where they're drawing their inspiration from. But it's overall pretty nice, and I like the colors, especially like they're adding a little bit of violet here and there into the reds. And messing with the value, having it a little darker in spots, a little bit lighter. So there's a lot of hue shifting. It gives it a lot of interest. And then they don't really do that very much in the white. They leave the white pretty flat. But yeah. You like this one of your favorites, you said?
I like it. I'm realizing that it's pretty simple, which is probably why you don't have a lot to say about it, but
yeah, like there's not.
It's clean.
Yeah, it's very clean. Because like there's red. The red has the most variety in the hues all over that, like the hood and the front and such. The white is very flat. There's a little bit of animated details all over, and they're really nice additions because they kind of make it look like has fire kind of burning within him, because it's like on the legs, on the arms, on the chest, on the eyes. Actually makes this kind of V shape too, because there's this big V on the chest and then another V with the eyes. So it does create these repetitions that are very nice. And most of it's either in the crevice or the edge of something, so like again it gives that effect of this is like emanating from within his own body in some way. And then like, yeah, even the metal accents are all like, they're pretty clean too. There's a metallic treatment to it, but there's not a lot of variation in the tone of it or the color of it. They always make such nice metal effects though in this game. They're never over pronounced, and they're just like, they're so nice and shiny. I would love to see them do chrome just for fun.
Ha.
Just chrome. Something really, really shiny with a high reflection rate.
That would be interesting.
Which,
I'm not sure the engine handles that, though.
Maybe not. Usually for chrome, if they are doing it in a game, they usually do a cheat. So they make like a secondary texture that's like a low res version of like the general environment. And they just have that be the mirror of their chrome effect. So it doesn't typically tend to register like other characters, enemies, the player. You're just kind of just supposed to politely not notice that there's no moving reflections in it, just the environment as a general, kind of like a general abstraction of the environment. So if the environment's all like green and trees, it'll be like green smudges. But I don't know if I've seen a lot of chrome, like truly reflective chrome as a material in anything in a long while. I think just because it's not really materially used very often anyway. And also because like the older chrome one, it was like kind of that Y2K fascination, but also it was so low poly and so blurry that you could kind of get away with it not being that high resolution. So the textures involved would give you the idea that it is shiny and chrome, but it didn't need to be high fidelity. And now that all the games are pretty high fidelity, making something kind of shiny is going to be a whole new ballpark, and you have other things to spend your resources on as far as what's taking up all the usage of the computer and your console. But yeah, I like the colors, and especially I just like the magenta. I think that's a fun effect that's not seen on too many of the other ones. I think a lot of them have a little bit of purplish, but this one really punches out to the it's like pretty much pink. Very, very high intensity. And the wings, they just move so nice with the cape whenever he animates.
All right. So that's the Phoenix one. What do we have left? We have 3 costumes left. I'm going to show you his most recent Battle Pass skin.
Oh my goodness, this is a pirate?
Nope, this is...
Space pirate.
Nope, this is a suit of cards theme that Emma Frost, Angela, Moon Knight, and Human Torch got.
Ooh.
Torch's hearts. I can't remember. Yeah, Angela was spades and Emma was diamonds because she's got diamond skin.
What was the secondary theme? Space pirate?
Funny you say that. There were actually space pirate skins separate from those. Does this guy say space pirate to you?
Well, look, the coattails, the kind of European style clothing, the color being so vivid, especially all the blue. You have a big cape. At least as far as like how pirates have been represented in popular media as, you know, having a bit of a European flair, and then they, you know, if they're stealing everything, they get to have the finest of fineries.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it seems very merchant-like, swashbuckler-like.
I guess.
You guess?
Maybe the pauldrons are throwing me off.
Maybe, because to me they feel very fabric-like, almost like epaulets. The ones that have like little tassels on the top. There's kind of a double pauldron thing going on there, though. He's got gold and then another white piece on top.
Yeah.
That's very fun, though, because this is very layered. And I do really like the way the different elements are layered. And there's a giant moon on the forehead, and the mask is similar, so it still looks like Moon Knight.
Hang on. He blinked and his mask moved. I think.
There's a little bit of a blue reflection I see happening. Oh yeah, He did blink and his mask moved. What is going on?
Weird.
You think that's just like they used a model and just left some animations in, or they just purposely like, yes, the mask will blink?
I have no idea.
Deal with it, nerds. Because we've had some masked versions, and I don't know if he blinks in any of his other versions.
No, I don't think so.
That's interesting. Wonder if it's really bizarre. Threw me off, actually. Because I was going to see what was going with the outfit. Because, like I said, it's like really lovely layered. It's lavish. And it's just trying to figure out where to start. Because, like, first of all, I love the blues.
They're very good blues.
Yeah, they're not at the highest saturation they could go, but they're pretty close. They're only toned down a little bit. I'm trying to figure out how which of the blues are a little more vivid, because I want to say the darker blue is actually higher in saturation than the lighter medium blue of his coat. And that is an incredible texture effect, which I don't think I've seen on any of the other characters yet. This kind of crystalline texture. Like, it's so glittery. It has like the refractions where the light comes kind of rainbow-like. And even the secondary lights where the light's bouncing around inside the gem, and you get that kind of light blue, teal, rainbow flashes. It's a lot of depth in there.
It's very cool.
I would love to pick their brain and see how they did that one, because it looks really neat. And then it even has the edges also have modeling or on the texture to catch light and look three-dimensional. Let's see, what else do we got to go? So we got clubs. So we got, I wonder what the pieces hanging off his belt are. They look cool, but I don't know what they are. My thought was, coin purse or something.
Yeah, but there are two of them.
Little satchel. Like really fancy one, like with like open in half.
You can't fit many coins in there. That's a sad coin purse.
I don't know what they are, but maybe there's a garment that some kind of thing I don't know about, because I've seen the braiding thing that's been on lots of European style clothing. It's usually used on more ceremonial or military clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Got a red belt. They also kind of remind me of scales, like a measuring scale.
Yeah, that's where I would go with it.
Because there's a smaller repetition of that shape right next to the belt. It's just a little bit smaller. So you got kind of big to small, and then the center medallion. And you have like 3 rows of his buttons and the tassels that connect together, all terminating in a club design. And then the coat opens up to that kind of big gem thing. You think he's got like another? No, he doesn't have another shirt underneath, along with the big medallion design. And then he's blue underneath that shirt, because I can see his neck. It's also blue. So he must be sweltering in there. I also like the hood having these longer tassels on it. Just as far as like, they have so much going on with the cape and the fabric and the other pauldrons, epaulets, and things going on, that they're like, okay, we need to take some bulk out of the hood, and they decide to make it so it has a downward shape to it, because we have so much going up, kind of like this big white shape going up, out like a bell, that we need to like bring some of the visual lines down. So you kind of see it kind of like it blooms out and up, and there's a lot of upward motion in like a lot of the design to me. Like the arm pieces are big upward pointing direction. So I feel like it'll bring some weight to the top of his head and brings like the weight of his head down. I think it just makes a nice framing too for the face, because we got the collar again, so it masks some of that collar that needs to be there because it is a fancy outfit, but it doesn't quite match the kind of hooded Moon Knight look.
Mm-hmm.
So, we can just kind of skirt around that. He's got like those Roman laurels?
Laurels, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of fun little detail there.
I love how the moon on his forehead is them going, wait, crap, we forgot to put a moon on this costume. Where are we going to put it? Giant moon on his forehead.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the center gem is also so large, so we just have a lot of large accents. So if we think about that in proportion, if we have like large moon, large club, 2 other large clubs, we have the large hangers on the belt, we have large boots, and the boots are all one color, so they're like also a big shape, even though they do have a lot of sub textures and sub shapes to it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's big stuff on the cape too. So I like the idea of like we have a lot of stuff that's big to balance with all these tiny little small details as far as like texture. And it's a lot of repetition of line too. We got like 3 lines on the pauldron, 3 lines across the abs. Also, almost framing abs too, because it's almost like each set of abs between the buttons, but done as clothing. And then we have the drapery of the longer tail coat on the blue coat, and then that cape is so fun. Because again, we got another. We actually hid the moon on the club with the red accent.
Oh yeah, there is a crescent there. There are crescents on all 3 leaves of the club.
Yeah, but you like that they used red to accent that there's another moon shape here, so that you didn't just interpret it as another curve of the club, but just that here's the moon night moon as well, and then another repetition of it above, but with no additional accents. I also like the shape of using the big leading line to kind of narrow the cape on the back, so that when it flows out, it just looks extra wide by the time it gets to the bottom. Has almost like these big chunks of gold, giving it a lot of visual weight. I think where this one's doing a lot of work though is value, because we have like a lot of medium to light values, and then they kind of let the dark values of that dark navy blue kind of lead your eye around, because they have blue on the bottom of the cape, but it's really desaturated as he like flies around. And then even white to light blue. Again, there's a balance of like medium on the top, light on the bottom. Eye is drawn to this big centerpiece. So even besides size, value-wise, it's also supporting the design. From the front, I think it's kind of like going to be a similar thing. So we have like the light gold boots. They're also really desaturated compared to the gold on the top. And then lots of white. And then the white, again, creates this shape across his chest. He has a white face, and then it's all surrounded by medium values. And the centerpiece is that dark blue. Because I think they really wanted to highlight the spade motif. Because the rest of them are much, much smaller, and so it's all over the outfit, but you get this big spade on the front and the arms. Clubs. Sorry. Spade's in the background.
Yep.
It's even, I like too that they did the little pointed up pauldrons too. He's not as pointy as some of his other versions though. There is a little bit of it, like the crescent, the pauldrons, and the tailcoat ends, but most of it's been rounded off quite a lot. Maybe a little bit of the face mask. It's kind of more pointed in the front. So far, I really like the colors on this quite a lot too. I think too, they went with a cold white to match and harmonize with the cold blues. So then your warms are the yellows and the reds. And there's not a lot of red. It's used as a background for the whole ensemble, probably making the blues a bit brighter. It's across the belt and just across the whole his cape on. And that's it for red.
Mm-hmm.
That's very nice. I'm also like a sucker for primary colored stuff. I really love blue, red, and yellow. It looks so good on almost everything to me. Sorry, secondary colors. I swear I still love you too. Let's see, is there anything else to point out that I haven't already talked over? There are a little bit of subtle textures on the pants, but I think that's just them keeping with the whole Marvel Rivals look. Because Marvel Rivals doesn't do a lot of flat. There's a lot of, everything has some kind of leading line, visual line, texture, but the value and color and everything else is very controlled. There's also something going on with the back of the coat, but I think it's going to be impossible to see because the cape is so large. But you can kind of see there's some gold accents kind of tying the back together. Almost like what it's doing is really cinching the coat to his waist, because that's what usually those kind of pieces on the back of a coat do on other garments.
And there are 3, just like in front.
I wonder if they went with 3 because there's also like 3 clovers on a club.
Could be.
Because they really did stick to the rule of 3 pretty much everywhere. I'm gonna wait till he stops moving because I was gonna look at how many are on the side of his arm because I think that one has 4. But pretty much everywhere else has 3. But I think it's mostly because from most angles you don't see all 4 anyway, so you probably see or count 3. Also, like the red on the cape's really desaturated too, compared to how it is on the belt and the front. I think that also might have a little bit of a lighting to that fabric because I feel like the belt gets desaturated when he moves, or it's shaded. Because as he moves over it, the belt gets darker by like a lot, and then it gets bright red again.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if the back of the cape has that material effect too, of this kind of satiny color. I really love that color so much. Also, he has pointed toes that point downward.
Oh, so he does. Talons.
Yeah, I say he doesn't have as many danger points anymore, but there's still a few of them, just enough. He's fancy now, but there's just enough, so you know.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I'm really loving the kind of double layered pauldron thing. Like the one that floats over it looks kind of like fabric-like, and then the other one underneath is metal. It feels very cool to me. I don't know. I probably have seen something like that. I just feel like it looks really nice on this particular design.
I think you're not supposed to look too closely at it because it's not attached.
No, but it's definitely not attached. But it looks like it's part of the coat, and it looks really cool to me. Almost like there used to be like this thing like make a kind of an oversized coat look, and then it would kind of drape off your shoulders a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of makes me think of that.
I can see that.
I still can't believe he blinks.
That's so weird.
His only detriment. Why does he blink?
Mm-hmm. Anything else to say about him?
Let's see. This is first appears Marvel Rivals. How many thrones have been toppled by the fists of justice? In all these years, have we not seen it time and time again? Oh, and he's the king of clubs. How are they going to continue the rest of the suit if they already have kings? There's only like, 13 in a set, so I guess they'll have to like fight for the throne at some point if they continue this theme. It's kind of interesting take on it too, because you normally think most of the time you see this theme, it's usually some kind of poker theme. So like to see this just visually done on that it's just a European inspired fanciful king with a spade theme is really neat to me. All right, but yeah, I think we are ready for whatever's next.
Okay, so you may be aware of this already, but there's a Marvel show that's MCU adjacent called What If, where they just do oddball things. They did Marvel Zombies, they did a few other things, and apparently one of the episodes is what if the heroes had mechs of themselves? And we got Moon Knights.
I'm trying to feel like what I feel about it, because I feel like a mecha, any superhero, and this feels at first glance a bit underwhelming.
Yeah?
To me. You also like the legs feel super tall and weird compared to the silhouette of the upper body to me.
Oh yeah, his hips are kind of high up. You're right.
Like he just looks like he has legs for days. The tassels I kind of like though, like the tail tassel thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like that feels a little bit fun and different.
They're danger points.
Yeah, they're danger points. And then I see they do like a lot of the crescents on the arms and things, kind of double it up, so it kind of makes a big armor piece. He needs to stop squirming around. He has kind of like big side blades on his arms, and then he's still holding his regular weapons because it wasn't enough pointiness. And then, is the lines leading into the chest all like a little bit different? Because they don't appear symmetrical. There's some different cracks on different sides too. And then there's a lot of layering in the gray inside the crescent moon. But there's no effect or anything inside of it. It's just a lot of layers. Huh.
You seem like you're not a fan.
It feels like, to me, like some stuff is just weirdly balanced. There's not a lot of lines that create an interesting shape or an interesting direction. Because if we kind of look at, say we start leading the eye around visually, so we do have some yellow lines that kind of go upward and form part of the torso and kind of lead back to the center. The center explodes outward in every direction, and it shapes the front of the suit or mecha as almost round, but maybe ovular, egg-like maybe. And it's not very symmetrical, and I'm trying to figure out why it's supposed to look so beat up and weird, because it looks more organic than it does mechanical as far as having that many additional lines. There is a bit of a collar, but the hood effect is very diminished as far as like mimicking that shape. Like there's a little bit of the face, the way the head is, because we're supposed to presume he's like inside the suit, you know, piloting himself.
Yeah, he's like in the head or whatever.
Yeah. I almost like the pauldrons, but then like there's this yellow piece that kind of sticks out, which I think is supposed to contrast some more color, but then we have doubled up the crescent shape. So it's like we wanted the crescent shape, but we don't want the crescent shape. And what happens is the big blades create this upward movement, but the crescent shape is creating this spiral outward, and the body is creating this other direction. So we have almost 3 different directions that don't line up to each other at all. Nor do they connect with another shape or form, and it just leaves me looking at it very confusedly. And like I said, like leg-wise, he's very wide-stanced and very long-legged.
Oh, I know what's wrong with the legs. They're deliberately slightly inhuman, but only in the thighs, which are thin, super thin robot legs. Which are not how a human that's built like this would look.
Also, like the arms are very clearly human proportioned, so I feel like they didn't really play around with the kind of shapes that they could have done for a mecha robot.
Yeah.
Because usually by the time you go to mecha, you can like I always think of the Ava because it's such a unique design and it's been in pop culture for a long time.
Oh, I can't wait for us to get to Penny Parker.
But it's like long head, long neck, right? Super long neck muscles, and then really slender, long arms and long legs. But they're all proportional to the whole robot as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And that shape is on a purpose, that it leads the animation of that character to, like, when he's in action, he's super long now, and so he has this like forward motion, and the way he moves has purpose, and it enhances. Where if they had made it more human proportioned, it would move like a human does. But since he's much longer, he can look like he's moving faster and more lithe and more energetic and more beast-like almost, because that's the way Ava did it. But then you have like stuff like Gundam. The Gundam ones, they're somewhat a little off of the human proportion, but they do kind of stick around in that ballpark, but they really exaggerate shape more. And so you get a whole range of stuff, but like the kind of standard one is like big, bulky, heavy. So when they're up in the air with their like guns and swords and stuff, they look like a brick shithouse that is fighting another brick shithouse, So it feels really fun and dynamic. And even some of the other designs where they're really much larger or rounder, like they have a different feeling from that exaggeration of being a robot, on top of all the narrative implications that the stories are looking to tell. But even just on a design, you can get a sense of what that robot character is going to be. For this one, it almost more looks like an Iron Man suit, kinda, but I just don't understand why extra wide hips and what that shape gives him, except for he has hips for days. But when I see like his base suit, I see someone who's like very muscular. He's got wide shoulders. He doesn't typically he's kind of Dorito shaped, but not as strongly as other heroes. Like he seems pretty bulky uh, in all aspects. And this one does play around with shape, but it doesn't to me lead to something that I find interesting. Because we could, if they could have made like maybe the arms are bigger or longer, or because there's something going on with the shape of the arms, but they're so pokey, and I'm thinking, well, if the arms are also pokey and blade like, why aren't the legs following that as well? You know, like the legs almost feel like from a different design to me.
Mm-hmm.
And because like what it looked like they were doing with the super cinched in waist is I thought, oh, they're gonna do like a fast character, like he's, you know, fast and ninja like, right? But then it's like extra wide with this big metal skirt. It's adding even more bulk, and then they have super thin legs. And I'm thinking like I think I would have rather that they just either kept him human proportioned or didn't let the waist get cinched in like that, because he usually has a cape too, so they could have done like a bunch of metal cape pieces or big giant jet engines or something. And I don't know what the what if version looks like, because sometimes the translation will be very different. But I think that's why I was trying to like articulate why this was not sitting with me as much as I would like it to, because I think color-wise the silver and bright yellow are pretty appealing.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that there's kind of like this kind of melting moon goo like V shape on the torso, but then that's kind of where I got lost, because like his chest is so egg shaped too, like it's just an egg set on top of a stem. And then like we totally lose the hood, because I know that part is supposed to mimic the bulk of the hood, because it's kind of like the lines are mimicking the fabric of his regular suit, but it just feels so egg-like. You know, they should have made him moon-shaped. Make him actually round. That would have been kind of something. Then it could have been like the moon itself crashing into his enemies. Or like, what was that one I can't remember which hero it was that was, I think it was Mantis, that had a sci-fi robot ninja skin. I'm not even sure how to describe it, but it was really cool. It's supposed to be dancer related too, I think.
I'm blanking.
No, we'll go back to Mantis and look at it, because it's wonderful. We should look at it again anyway. That one.
Oh, this one. You're right.
Now still, this is not big enough to be a mecha, but it's in the same kind of design family. In that, like, they really played with shape, because their head's not Mantis anymore, really, except for the antenna. So they've got these big extra points on it. Now I'm thinking, I want a Moon Knight version of whatever this is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the other thing I'm thinking, too, is, like, if it's supposed to be, like, a mecha, usually the mechas that have people inside them, because they're in some kind of peril, because they're literally inside the robot getting attacked, most designs make some kind of point of, like, this is the part of the body that holds the soft, squishy human. You know, and whether it's, like, I think the Gundams are kind of like there's a square area unit where, you know, where the platform connects to, and they walk in, and blah, blah, blah. Ava's, I think, was weirder, but I don't remember what that one is, but I don't recall it right now. And there's been different variations too. Like Big O was a show that was on forever ago, but that one was more like an organic version. And then there's the other way where it's completely mechanical. There's the Pacific Rim version. You know, there's all sorts of ranges, but I think each design has some point where you're very aware that there's a person inside. So I guess for me, I think I would have designed something very different, and I wish the shape of what his costume was a little more interesting and playful as far as what it could have been. Because there's his regular mummy suit, and like at first it's kind of dark too, and then I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. And there's some kind of wing effect too that they don't let be part of his regular suit. I think it's only from the front though. It's kind of weird when he lands at the side. You don't see how wide his little hips are. You know what I mean? Like it depends on the pose. It's like when you draw something or sculpt something and then you turn it and you're like, oh, because you only designed it looking in one direction. So I feel like I did critique it quite a lot more than I really meant to, because I think it's almost there. There's just one, like the overall cohesiveness really bothers me quite a lot. Because when his batons are on his back, when he's done doing this, like that kind of feels nice to me because it creates this big bulky like rectangular middle, right? If you kind of fill in the gaps where his waist are. His waist is. It's so upsetting. I forget how to word. And I think like they should have just had a thicker torso and maybe like played around with shape a bit more. Also, wouldn't it have been cool to put like the inscriptions on the mecha to make like a Egyptian mecha?
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Right?
The only onks on his design are on the batons. Yeah, like it seems like it could have went through a few rounds. I mean, obviously, What If designed it to begin with, and they're designing for animation instead. Yep.
But I don't remember if those were 3D animated or 2D animated. But I want to say they were. I'm trying to remember. I've only seen a few clips, and I never actually stopped to look at a preview, so I don't remember how they animated their series. Because those can change the dynamics of what you put on the screen. And sometimes there's a mix. So, like, if you have very mechanical things, I've seen they tend to make a 3D model and just stick it into the 2D animated environment. Sometimes they'll try to mask it. Sometimes they do absolutely nothing to mask it. But it's a thing they'll do. Kind of like, was it DreamWorks Stallion of the Cimarron? Which is a beautiful movie, but anytime they use a 3D element, it's like insanely obvious that it's a 3D element all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And every time I watch it, I just think, couldn't you have just rotoscoped the 3D animation and made it mesh a little better?
Yep.
Like, that's what I would have done anyway. I would have watched that and be like, hell, that almost worked, but it didn't. Let's just rotoscope it. Call it a day.
But you got to show the capabilities of your 3D artists.
Maybe so. I don't know. I do like there's a little bit of blue on the braided elements. I think it would have been cool to get some of that kind of, was it cornflower blue in some of the other parts of the design? Because that feels like almost like leather or fabric or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just grousing. I just feel like I would have been more playful if I designed it as far as what a Moonlight Knight mecha. Because you have the moon, you have mechas, and you have knights. Those are three very fun design prospects.
Mm-hmm.
And this is okay. This can be kind of fun, but I think it could have been much, much more. Oh, and then the Egyptian. We don't want to forget that. It's like a fourth one that's a whole nother design that could have been really fun to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least if someone said, hey, check out this Moon Knight Egyptian mecha, I would have expected something way more cool. But that's just like my opinion, man. But I think other than that, it's modeled well. I like the repetition of some of these back elements. I actually really like the shape on the back. I wish that was on something similar on the front.
Mm-hmm.
It really breaks up the egg allegations.
Really? Because it's egg yolk and egg white colored.
It's also a bird face on the back, I just realized. Subtly.
Oh, yeah, subtly.
Because it's kind of like a beak and eyes almost. But maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know, that at this point, I don't know if it's accidental or on purpose, though, because it's kind of subtle.
Yeah.
But in any case, I digress. I don't know if I can say anything more for this one.
All right. One last costume, and I think you're either going to really like it or really hate it.
Alrighty.
And I'm not sure which.
He's gay! And he went to the Kiss Cards concert. This is kind of fun. Asymmetry, though. What's the title for this one?
Eclipse Knight.
Huh. Was this from
It's part of a set of like corrupted hero skins that they've done. Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange also have one.
So he got corrupted and he became fabulous.
Oh, he's got a hole in the world effect on his the black parts of his costume.
So they took be gay, do crimes to 11, huh? I really like the stripe on the front where they use the Moon Knight emblem, but they cut the white portion and black portion in half, and then they kind of cut it again when it strikes across the other half. That's really fun.
Yeah.
It also has a fun surface treatment. It's kind of that sparkly, same sparkly that was on the other one, but not as heavy, but in a light gray. Also, I like the purple accents quite a lot, because if we kind of go out of to a long view, what it kind of does is it kind of creates this vertical line of purple between his crown and down through the arm. And then they have another smaller patch on here for probably a little bit of a proportional balance. And I'm thinking, let's see, what do they do? They have 2 black boots. Because I'm thinking, oh, I think I see what they did. You keep moving him though. Because I was thinking, how do they balance how bright and vivid that purple is? But then I realized the white portion is much larger than the dark portion on the front of his costume. Even though there's 2 black boots, but we have kind of like this big diagonal white stripe and then a much skinnier black stripe. So they can then play around more with the density of detail on the black area and not have it feel like it's too over-designed. And they're bringing a lot of white onto the black side too, because they have like kind of this spiral ribbon on his shoulder. There's more ribbons on his arm with some of the silvery white accents.
Mm-hmm.
And it's creating a lot of movement too, because we have these like really sweeping curved lines right underneath his rib cage inside. And they're all kind of curving around to the back, giving us more sense of the form. One of them's curving back up, so we get, instead of getting just flying around to the side, we have that one different one, just one. He's got cool spine detail too on the back. It's like a repeating line on his back.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see it from this angle.
He'll move in a moment and we'll get a good shot of it.
Yeah, so it's like dead center white line with like kind of hash marks on the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have this kind of side panel on the pants. Let's look at the back of the cape. Because I'm seeing some stuff there. Because when he moves in some of the light, I feel like there's some of the yellow coming across on the black side.
Oh, it's also phases of the moon.
Or at least, yeah, it seems like they change in size to like really thin to thicker.
Or no, it's not phases of the moon. It's phases of a solar eclipse. Or maybe a lunar eclipse?
I'm not sure if they're just like changing size a lot, because when he moves they stretch with the cape. But it does seem like the ones on the edge are a bit thinner until he moves. So I'm actually not sure if they're meant to be the same size and it's just some kind of weird texture wrapping. But I love how fluttery and lacy the white side is. That's a cool texture and line. And then like they make it all fluffy and pointy on the dark side. Let's see. Let's go look at the front again for a bit. Oh, he has the panel on the white side too. It's just in white and silver. Nice touch. And I like the gold on the white too, making this kind of big sunburst. So you're probably right about this kind of lunar eclipse, or a solar eclipse on a lunar eclipse. Let's look at his face for a bit.
Oh, he's actually got pupils.
Yeah, I was looking at like the kind of spiral ribbon versus the other side, which is this big arrow emblem, which is kind of fun. Because I feel like the arrow points us to the center, and then the spiral kind of brings us around.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a little bit of fluff on that side that's white, so it's not like totally the sort of the material treatment is not totally asymmetrical. He does have some symmetry there. with asymmetrical elements in the details. I really do like the addition of the purple, though. Purple and yellow are also complementary colors. So even though it goes really well with the night theme, it also is like complementary on the color palette as well. Even the purple areas of the moons have like a little bit of, I think, a texture or a color phase, because it's kind of bluish to purple. When he moves, it's kind of glittery.
Mm-hmm.
He has goth makeup. It's kind of funny though. It's like, this is the only suit that they actually show his face.
Yep.
And it's this one.
This is the closest we've got to a canon Mark Spector face for Marvel Rivals.
It's interesting that they decided to go that direction, because they could have just kept him masked and that could be the part of the fit, you know? It would have still worked, but this almost feels like Goblin King
Yeah.
to me.
His collar is asymmetrical, and that bothers me a little. But it also kind of fits.
Yeah, well, when you zoomed out, if you looked at how they divided it, like this side was skinny on the black, and this side was wider, so they widened the collar on the blacks on the opposite side. So he has literally off kilter asymmetrical design, because he's the evil one apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's gonna win first place at the drag performance tonight. But I really like a lot of the glitter and metallic and refractive elements on this costume. I almost thought you were gonna say it was a gala outfit for him.
No.
Wouldn't it have fit though?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, like to me it looks like a gala fashion outfit, because there's ruffles, there's glitter, there's fur. That's what I would have thought it was without context. I also like that the yellow comes through on the lighting when he moves, even on the opposite side. So you have a lot of harmony with the colors, because they're just blended into both sides. There's like purple accents on the gold, there's gold accents on the black and purple. There's a little bit of cyan as a complementary accent. It's not part of any of the what they call local color, because the local color is the color something is without changing the lighting on it. So like a red apple is red, and if you light it under blue light, it's now a dark, red apple. And if you light it under green, it's going to be like a gray apple, because the lighting changes the color, because color is all very relative to where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
But I do quite like all the blues, because I always think blue and yellow goes good. It's the cyan, so it's closer to the yellow of the color wheel as far as harmonies go, but blue also will match with all those purples. Take note, Galactus skins. I would love to see them let some harmony into the Galactus skins, but I digress. This one's really fun. I also just really like the texture treatment of it being all ragged and kind of chaotic on the dark side, and then really, really ruffly and the white side. So honestly, I think neither one of them look like good or evil. They're all very chaotic, but one is just like, it's like dark and light. But they both have very much a side of chaos to them. I can't remember if I read the lore bit that went with this one or not.
He stood for moonlit justice, but the nightmare gnaws at him. With fading hope, he calls to Khonshu. But is Khonshu even there?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Is this season 6? So did they conclude the storyline that this one's in, or is this new?
This is new, and it's not really a storyline, it's just a set of skins.
Oh, I thought they were like loosely related to the current season.
Not always. Sometimes, not always.
Like the vampire ones were.
Yeah, this is not a Battle Pass skin, and they haven't done themed Battle Passes since the Venom and Phoenix one.
Aw. I mean, they can't do them all the time.
People really got sick of the Venom and Phoenix ones, and a lot of people thought that they looked bad.
Well, some of the Venom ones did look bad.
Yeah.
I didn't really see any bad Phoenix ones that I can remember, or at least if there was one that wasn't great, it was at least good. But there was some pretty bad Venom ones, which is kind of insane because there's like, or am I thinking just symbiote?
Symbiote, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't seen Venom yet, except in a
Jeff.
yeah.
Jeff is Venom. Is there anything special about his weapons in this version? Huh. They're just like metally, but they are slightly different shapes. It's like a little curve out. Kind of reminds me of those like weapons you can get at the mall, where they're like they're doing that false tribal bullshit.
Yeah.
They're all the extra spikes and shit. I'd beware anybody that has more than one. I'll accept one, just because one might be kind of cool. But if you have like 5 or 10, I am judging you a little.
I'll forgive some of those because like those shops also sell like Star Trek knives and such.
They get a Star Trek pass.
A little bit. Like they'll sell you a Romulan knife or the Klingon batleth or whatever.
I didn't say I was judging the shop. I was judging the people that buy them.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Anything else to say about this skin?
I don't think so. Other than it's really nice. I like it. Oh, the palm. Oh, the hand thing is another moon, but it's kind of shiny like the sun.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now I'm done.
All right. On to the MVPs. Nope, not that one. Where is the default? Here's the default.
Ooh. I like how that almost feels like one of those like optical illusions where stuff continues to move. I mean,
Yeah.
they do make him move, I think, but the stark white is so strong, it does have this cool effect. It's like, phew. I like that quite a lot. I wish this cape as wings was used more in just his standing around pose, though. None of the outfits really had a lot of wing motifs, except Phoenix slightly. It's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Really. I like that they put like pretty much little spoilers on the sides of a lot of the capes just to give them like a more visually eye-catching movement when they're animated. It's like F for failure of my enemies.
All right. Up next, let's do. Where's Mr. Knight? This is Mr. Knight. Nope, that's the MCU one.
That was pretty low key. I like the setting though. I wonder why they did the default background and just didn't do like some stormy clouds or something. That kind of threw me off. He's like, I'm jumping into the default Marvel MVP background. Oh, and the moon. Boom. I still like this costume quite a lot though.
Here's Mr. Knight.
It's like that meme. I give you X thing, you receive. Is that not it?
That's kind of it, yeah.
Is that not a meme already in the?
No, people. I haven't seen it anyway.
Nobody really.
They might have just out of my sight.
There's got to be someone being like, you know, I give you my undying loyalty. You give me costume that I've been waiting for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, how about Chinese one?
My first thought was like, take that, you JPEGs. Because they had no depth.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they're trying to do it as an illustration thing, but it just really caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Because it's like the first thing you see is this little floating head in the bottom corner of the thing. I'm mature, I swear. I wonder what the text says. Happy New Year, maybe? I do like the end illustration. It's very nice. But it's also like illustrated in the style of these skins. So it's very different from the kind of base Marvel.
Yeah.
You know, like everything's a little bit thinner and less. There's not a big thick line and big graphic lines like the other MVPs for the more house style, what you call it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of the Peach Momoko kind of a little bit, but it's not the same designer, but just as far as the line work and the general sense of style. Alrighty.
All right, up next, let's do Phoenix Knight.
Cool. But also not defeating the MMO allegations. I like that opening shot, though. That feels very cool.
Very cool. With the flaming cape and everything, it's awesome.
And then, summons his weapons. I think the end pose is not as dynamic as it could be, because it looks like they're trying to do a wings thing. But I'm like, this is way more sick than the end illustration, and that's not usually how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
But the movement's really fun and dynamic. Alright.
Up next, let's do King of Clubs. This MVP had some people in the subreddit insisting this was a Captain America skin.
Wow.
Like that with the shield, yeah.
There's the cards even. Are the cards have the other characters on them, I wonder? Or is it just a repetition of his own outfit?
When it stops, let me take a look.
It
No,
like
it's him. It's him.
It's him. Yeah, and oh, they just realized they extended the tail of the
club to be an Ankh. Yeah.
Ah, very nice. Also, I really like this animation, and the end illustration is really cool too. Because like cape swoosh, shield, close up, slide, bam, sword, slap. Feels very awesome and dynamic. Alrighty.
All right. Up next, Mecha.
Go Mighty Avengers. Oh, is this supposed to be a Power Rangers mecha? At least maybe not. The titles that said Go Power Event or Go Mighty Avengers really threw me off because that's not mecha, that's Sentai, which are a little related.
The Power Rangers had a mech.
Yeah, but like I feel like Sentai and mecha are like they're like sister or brother genres, but they do have distinctions that make them a little different, but they go together very well because they both are very obsessed with robots and technology. Still has the widest ass hips though. Even in the end illustration. You see?
Yeah.
See, that one has a better shape overall though, because you see how the top of his body creates this hunched like U shape when he's positioned like that.
Yep.
Like that is a better shape than his standard pose, and he's tilting his torso forward. I wish I was more familiar with the design they based this off of in the TV series, because I feel like changing the pose and the way his body posture sits really helps the design quite a lot. As far as the way of avoiding some of that awkward shapes. Because this creates a better thorough line as far as from arm to arm, shoulder to shoulder, than him just standing around. And it makes the points on his arms and shoulders look way better because they're now supporting a similar line. I don't know if you can see it because I know I'm describing it visually.
I think I see what you're talking about.
Because it's like shoo, shoo, shoo. Shoot.
Yep.
So what I did when he was watching is I pointed my fingers to the hands and pointed up the blades, up the arms, and then across around in a spiral to the head with his shoulders. Versus like when he was standing in his regular view, you can't make that visual thorough line anymore.
Yeah.
Anyhow. Is that his last one?
This is the last one, Eclipse Knight.
Oh, that's just a regular Saturday for me. Huh. Did they actually say what he's being corrupted by? Or just darkness?
Just some darkness.
Darkness! I was just curious because like this kind of has like a very intriguing setting. It's very gothic. This whole like battlefield around him, and he's like chained up with magical chains. then it does make me ask a lot of questions. It feels very cool though, for sure. And then there's some kind of nice little pop-in animations with a totally different visual effect. And it's also done in a nice way because he doesn't have like any technology stuff, so it's not done in that staticky video is messing up way, but in a like very graphic design, everything's fuchsia, weird, dreamy kind of way, nightmare-ish. Even give him little sharp pointy teeth. So I guess in this one, the darkness is it seems more like a lunar eclipse situation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than a solar eclipse. So it's almost like he's being corrupted by losing access to the thing that gives him power. Yeah, very cool.
All right. So which of these MVPs is your favorite?
I really like the clubs.
It is a very cool one.
Yeah. And I'm not going to be like put the official which one is the most Moon Knight MVP, but I always get the impression that he's a very physical character and that like most of his stuff is just like physical fighting. So like
in the comics, yes. In Marvel Rivals, his primary attack is throwing shit.
Yeah, but I mean like it feels very like in line with what I know of the character. I'm just not going to make an official designation.
Yeah. So is this a sign of which costume is your favorite?
Maybe. I really like that one quite a lot, though. I mean, I did say I'm partial to primary color schemes, but the one thing I really enjoy with this is the combination of the way they did the hood, the white upper portion of that kind of pauldron area where it's this big shape, and I also just enjoy the control of the light values, all the white with the medium values overall.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nicely balanced, and I feel like there's a really great sense of rhythm across the whole outfit.
It is a pretty cool one. It's grown on me as you've talked it up.
And like maybe there's a little confusion in theme because I do feel it's a bit piratey, but I feel like that falls in the same design family of classy European. So just throw like some swashbuckling gear on him, and he would be totally pirate themed. But if not, he's still very kingly and stately. But it could be a combination of like Moon Knight's, pointy scariness versus like kind of a more kingly vibe. Like maybe they're just at odds, so I get more pirate out of that.
Mm-hmm.
My second favorite was the corrupted version. I also really like how they treated the MVP, but I really love asymmetrical design, and I think this one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And very different. I also like that. I also really like costumes that make me think about story, too, because a lot of them are references to another story. But it's really fun that Marvel's is also playing around with what if, right? Like, what if this character was a dragon warrior, or what if this character was corrupted by the lunar eclipse, by some unknown darkness or nightmare.
I believe the official word is that every costume is from like its own timeline, a what if, what could be.
Yeah, I would presume it would have to be, or else it would be very confusing overall.
Well, yeah, I meant more that like they're not just random costumes. They're all like intended to be. This is Moon Knight from another universe or whatever.
Yeah, I'm really hoping this one is kind of like a labyrinth, dark fantasy setting, because I would love to see more characters in this kind of fanciful design.
Well, there's Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch. And I think the new Captain America skin is from this set as well, but I'm not sure.
Because I did do like the weird elf skin for one other character that didn't
for
seem to
Cloak and Dagger.
That didn't seem to match with anything, and I'm thinking maybe they could just match that one with this setting, and then something. But I think it's really interesting. But clearly, I really was favoriting the club's outfit.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones though. There were not really a lot that I would say I didn't really enjoy.
Yeah, the only ones you really had big complaints about were the mech and Mr. Knight.
Yeah, I think Mr. Knight was my issue was like not completely sticking with theme, and the mecha one was more just on a shape language and form language.
Yeah.
I just felt like it could have been much more. But yeah, go back to him. Thank you. Also, he's like extra wide version of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Because he just looks larger than life. And I just think I really like this one quite a lot.
It's a pretty cool one.
And like I like how cleverly they solved he has to still wear the hood, but we need the hood to not be in the way of all this really pretty finery clothes. How do we solve this?
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of reminds me of some clerical or spiritual type hoods that are worn in some customs. So I really like it a lot. He just needs to not blink.
All right, well, that's Moon Knight. Up next is going to be everyone's favorite stalker, Namor.
Namor.
And unlike how some people have been pronouncing it and how some characters in this game pronounce it, it's Namor, not Namor. It's been Namor for 85 years. 87 as of this year, actually. And it won't stop being Namor.
I mean, I already like what they've done with the guy, because I usually would thought, like, man, this is the most boring Aqua person ever, and this design already looks really cool, so...
He's got a few good costumes and a few really bad ones.
And I'm like, I don't envy them of, we need to make an Aqua-themed guy, but we can't make sure he doesn't look like Aquaman, please.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you next time for Namor.
Bye.
Bye.
A lot of blue on your whole screen right now in general.
Yeah, lots of. I was expecting you to touch my skin with your cold hands again at the start of the test. Anyway, testing.
Testing. You didn't say you were testing. I can do it now.
Oh God, no.